Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to day 3 of Elite Invite in Leuven, where we have the the last round of the semifinals, of course, in the mixed division, as they have started at the tournament and their games the mixed division. They also have to play their semifinals today, this morning, and also go into the finals on the same day. While in the other two divisions, all the finalists and all of the permutations, everything is already decided. Which is, I think, a very good scheduling idea. I think every division had the first game on one of the days, from what I have seen. So this is also, yeah, very, very good scheduling decision. We've seen about a few minutes ago, we've seen a pre-game spirit circle, which is again, yes, somewhat of a new thing, something to talk about before the game, just to maybe discuss any possible problems before the game. Lovely to see that, of course. I'm sure that both of these teams, though, will do their best to keep it clean, to get the spirits high, and yeah, to have a very enjoyable game for everyone and for themselves as well. So, I'm Dmitry Doroshenko. You are watching a mixed semi-final to play for the fifth place. So, unfortunately, both of these teams have lost their quarterfinals, and they are finding themselves at the bottom side of the bracket. To be precise, Manchot played Distus with France versus France quarterfinals and lost to them 15-12. Quite an interesting game. And then Nulacht Ultimate played against Tartu Turbulance, and that was a universe point game. And Nulacht there is coming out on top, while Tartu Turbulence is meeting Manchot here on a parallel, so to say, game. We have Reading Ultimate against Disconnection. Reading lost to Deep Space in a Universe Point matchup as well, and Lemmings lost against Disconnection from Germany. And the first point is underway, moving really, really quickly there, and already on the doorstep for almost a point, but needs to move backwards. However, finding some of the cutters. Once again on the doorstep. There was maybe an inside window, but elects not to take it. Maybe a good idea there. And Jakob Tam to his teammate over there in the end zone. Yeah, Jakob Tam is always very easy to spot, of course, very tall. And the white hair of his are always very easy to spot. Also, he's definitely a player to look out for on the Tartu's side, as he is leading the stats for his team by a significant margin, let's put it this way. So he has total of 21 points, 10 assists, and 11 goals, and I think it's now 22, as the assist count, is getting to 11, and the closest person to him is also somewhat unsurprisingly Helen Terra, who has 4 assists and 11 goals. These two players, I've seen them play a lot during the indoor season, as I lived in Latvia, and Tartu has played quite a lot of indoor as well. They were visiting Latvia many times for many stages of the Baltic Championships. So yes, these are two players to look out for on Tartu's side. But now Manchot coming out with their own offense. Let's see if it's going to be as effective as it was for Tartu. Good movement, but lots of defensive pressure under every pass. But now, in the attacking side, a bit of a 1-2 give and go. Ooh, that was very close to being defended, but that is punched in for a score. Very good, very calm. Point for Laila Petitbon. I think she's through that last pass to her teammate Perrine Leproux. Very good, very effective as well, lost point. And the first point of the game was actually scored by Crystal Linz, who I think is somewhat of a veteran of the Tartus side. I think she has been playing for, I want to say, approximately 20 years. Lots of experience, of course, and ultimate knowledge. That always comes in very, very handy, especially in the long games and in a very highly contested tournaments like this one. As you know, of course, this is the Elite Invite tournament. And only the best 8 teams from the previous year are invited to this tournament. I was actually curious. Maybe somebody in the chat could answer me and tell me what happened to the team, that team called Hood. I think they're not here. I mean, I have heard that there is a new team in the open division called Hood and a new team in the women's division called Hood. But what would happen to their spot in the mixed division? Because they were supposed to be here, because if the memory serves me right, they did pretty well last year. I don't think that they won, but I think they did quite well there. Oh, Jakob Tam putting on a show for us a little bit. Yes, tipping that disc and tapping that disc, but then finally catching that disc in the end zone, maybe teasing the defender a little bit, but I'm sure that it was very unintentional, but definitely, yes, putting a show. So another score for him in this game and for his personal stats. Christian Loritz, who is this long shot into the end zone, and Jakob Tam, as I mentioned, with the score. So far, clean holds for every team, no turnovers. Playing very clean game of Ultimate this morning. I think both of these teams are coming out very prepared to play. I think Tartu is having a really good tournament, despite maybe not playing outdoor as much as some other teams. I might stand corrected a little bit regarding Tartu's tournament, as they have actually lost every game. Apparently they have lost every game, so there were a few very close ones, especially that quarterfinal. But they might be looking at their first win, or, well, at the very least, very first break, which will definitely make it a little bit easier to get a win. So as they have managed to get a turnover out of the Manchot side, and now working their disc into the end zone, basically on the doorstep, and a blade, indoor style, a little bit, probably, but still, that is effective enough for them. Timo Ilves to Annette Nigol in there for the break. So good job, Tartu, getting the first offensive blood sorry, defensive blood, of course. And yeah, getting started there. Yeah, Tartu did lose every game. They've lost 13-15 to Deep Space in the group stage. They have lost 11-15 to Seskidistus, and they've lost 15-8 to Disconnection from Germany. And as I've mentioned before, they've lost their matchup in the quarterfinals, which was a Universe Point game against Nullacht Ultimate, also from Germany, 13-14. I'm sure that they would be delighted to get their first win and not play for the 7th and 8th, but rather for 5th and 6th. So the winner of this game will go on to play for the 5th place against the winner of the Reading and Disconnection game on the other side of this um, bracket. One shot, another shot at getting a point on offensive hold. So far, getting pretty close there. Quite good and calm handling. But now getting stifled a little bit on the far sideline and in the corner. Low throw to Ophélie Gavier. Fortunately, she could not handle that, and that disc was dropped, but it was a very, very difficult reception for her. And that disc is quickly picked up by Tartu, who are looking at their second break in a row. Ooh, Sapelkov there with, oh no, and another drop. Very unfortunate drop for Tartu. I'm sure that Reznikaita will be looking at trying to fix her mistake in the future, but that mistake, it was on the defense, let's say, as they were playing the defensive point, but of course she wouldn't want to do that again and get a fairly simple drop. I think she actually started looking upfield before securing the catch in her hands. And yes, because of that, that was dropped. So Emmanuel Poset to Quentin Peltier for that score. And that brings us to 2-2. No, sorry, 2-3. Tartu is up by one break in this game. And as I've told you about the tournament of Tartu, might as well tell you about the tournament of Manchots and how they were doing so far in this weekend. So first 3 games, their pool play. Leamington Lemmings won against them 13-11. Long shot. Let's see. Oh yes, nice. Very, very nice. Great shot into the end zone. Almost looked easy for Marin Rava, who is also doing lots of damage in terms of the points. She's a very young player. I think Estonia and Tartu, they won the indoor under 20 championships this year. And I think she was one of the key players for the Estonian side. They're only 19 years of age, but already has heaps of experience and yeah, obviously some very good teammates to teach her how to play, but I'm sure that she already knows pretty well the game of Ultimate. I've seen her many times on the field, and yes, she's a very good player. she's connecting there with Jakob Tam for that offensive score, for that offensive hold. And yes, Manchot coming out on the offense once again. So, as I mentioned, they've lost to Lemmings 13-11. Close game, but yeah, maybe a little bit unfortunate. Oh, great grab there in the end. Sorry, near the end zone, under lots of defensive pressure, but still well held on. I think that was Petit Bong. Yes, making an athletic grab. Now Disc is moving really fast on that far sideline. Very close to the end zone, and ooh, that's a bit high, and that is knocked away by the defense. I think it was Noman. Who is that defense? Oh, no, Pangsep. I think he's one of the newer players on the Tartu side, and the author of that defense. He is unfortunately is the author of the drop. But again, yes, in all fairness, it was a very difficult reception for him. So it was very hard for him to hold on to this disc. And Manchot once again on the counter attack. Nice 1-2 in the handler space by Petit Bong and into the end zone. Nice, very pretty score. Very nice. That was Gaetanle Bezek Kaminat with that cut. And looks like we're gonna have maybe a bit of a timeout or maybe just a huddle on the Manchot side. These points are very exciting and very dynamic, so I'm still trying to tell you about the Manchots way. So yes, Manchots lost to Lemmings 13-11, then lost to Reading in their pool play 15-13, and then to Nulacht 15-10. So unfortunately, they are also losing all of the games so far in this tournament, as they also lost the quarterfinals to Sergidistus, to their compatriots. 15-12s. One good thing about this game is that one of these teams is not going to have all of the losses this weekend, but that also means that one of them will continue to have the losses, sadly. Let's see who's going to come out on top so far. Tartu, in my opinion, my personal opinion, maybe look a little bit more fired up, more ready to play. A bit more confident with the disc, if I can say that. Yeah, Raba with the disc, swing to Nigol. I think it was Nigol. Yes. No, sorry, Linz, of course. Another swing. Ooh, Raba there could not hold on to this disc, and yeah, looking a bit, unsurprisingly, a little bit upset. Was that Raba? I'm sorry, or was that Clara Lead? Might want to check my facts or my eyesight. Oh, it was Marin Raba. I was right. Nice swing and good counter attack by Manchot. Looks like the wind is picking up a little bit. As you see, our camera is swinging a little bit in that wind, fluttering, and you can definitely hear it too. No up line is the call from the Tartu side, and oh no, very unfortunate. Hugo Herbin there with a drop, just that disc dropped from between his hands, and he had to very quickly start running after Jakob Tam as he decided to go into the empty space of the end zone, but unfortunately maybe he realized that a little bit too late. The defender, Herbin, and Jakob Tam was already a few paces ahead, and with a disc in his hands in the end of that sprint. So still a hold for Tartu, not a clean hold nonetheless, as we say, and it is 3-5. Tartu still a one break up. So far doing pretty well. In this matchup. By the way, thank you, Felix, for providing some information about Hoot. Yes, I did know that they have focused completely on open and women, but spots went to the next teams that were interested in playing Elite Invite. So basically, I guess those who finished their position 9, 10, and so on. That would be logical, of course, to just yes, offer a spot to the next strongest team. But I still wanted to have that confirmed. Thank you. Manchot now. Good movement in the back of the on their own side of the field, but with that slightly poachy, switchy defense from Tartu, looks like they are having some difficulties of moving, and now they're trapped a little bit on that back sideline. Probably all of the resets are going to be closed. No, actually finds an upline. And yeah, Manchot are working that disc really well. Close to the end zone now. Nigot finds a reset. Oh, that disc is gonna hang, but quite easy for Gavillet. To the side to Petitbon. That stall count is probably getting quite high, but she finally finds a reset to the side and into the end zone. Can she keep it in? I'm not sure about that. Unfortunately, we do not have a luxury of the replay, but the players on the field has signaled out. Yeah, it did quite questionable. But that would mean another opportunity for Tartu for a break. Terra there with the disc. Expensive fakes and a reset to her teammate. Going around once again, fake, another fake, and finally sends its disc. Disc is back with Terra. Timo Ilves sends it deep, and can that be? Oh no! I think that was slightly misread there by the receiver in the end zone, and yeah, that disc hits the ground and gives another opportunity to Manchot for that score. Manchot once again knocking on the doorstep, and this time that is gonna get kept in by Perrine Leproux for the score. So 4-5. Manchot are still looking for their first break, as Tartu already found one. But yes, both of these sides are generating the turnovers from each other. However, in the majority of the cases, they are finding their way to get the disc back and punch in a hold and an offensive score. So offensive lines there, having to work double duties of also getting the defense back or forcing a mistake. Tartu coming out on offense. Looks like a bit of a pick. Terra looks to be suspiciously open and suspiciously lonely in that empty space. They look to... Yep, looks like everybody's happy in their position. Gordusi there was pleading the case, and long shot from Tam to... Oh, yeah, that disc started to fall a little bit early, and unfortunate for the receiver in the end zone. Was a very difficult disc to handle. Maybe should have been more of a longer layout. That looks to be Marin Raba once again. Yeah. And Manchots. Maybe they will find their first break. Oh, was that a hand block? Ooh, exciting. Very exciting. Once again, Marin Raba is Raba there maybe fixing her mistake, so to say, by letting this disc hit the ground in the end zone and getting a block. Raba with the disc now. Swing to Noman. Sorry, to Tether, of course. Back to Raba. Advancing past to Tam. Now a swing once again to Tether. Bello. And disc now with Loritz. And Loritz to Helen Terra into the end zone. Yeah, Loritz is supplying quite a lot of the points in this game. I think he's already on 3 assists, and yeah, he's doing really well in that game. The only higher stat sitter is unsurprisingly Jakob Tam. He has 2 assists and 2 goals, while Christian Loritz has 3 assists to his name. The rest of the points are a little bit more evenly spread. Interesting not to see Leet on Tartu's side. I don't think that I've seen her, but she's also one of their key players. Haven't seen Noman as well. But I've seen a few new names, like number 98 on Tartu, Sapelkov. I don't think that I've seen him before. Maybe he's picked up for that, but he looks to be living in Otepa and played for about 5-6 years, injury-free. And was a trainer in Tartu for about 3 years, but now raising 2 boys. Okay, that makes sense. Long shot for Manchot. And how many touches did this disc get in the end zone? But in the end, it was knocked away by the defense, and quite an unfortunate one, as I think the receiver there maybe had 3 or 4 possibilities to catch it. But Tartu now gonna be looking to get another break. Lots of faking on this sideline. Lepik finds a reset and now to the end zone with a hammer. Indoor style. Very indoor style. So Tonison there to Lepik. Yeah, who managed to find her way in the end zone. So Tonison to Lepik with a hammer score. Styly. Apologies if there were any problems with the sound. I hope that it is now fixed. In case that happens again, I'll try to figure something out once again. Manchot now shooting for the end zone, but with a double coverage and that disc sailing from behind the head of the receiver. That looks to be an unfortunate throwaway from Peltier. He does look a little bit upset about that. I don't think that the option was bad, but I think it was more of an execution problem, and that just got picked up slightly by the wind. But this time, a long shot. Ooh, good try. Very good try by Ilves to pick it up, but unfortunately he was not able to, and that gives the disc back to Manchot. A bit of a stoppage on the play with a pick. Good movement so far by Manchot, keeping that disc alive. Posey is getting a lot of touches there, but now finally finding some advancing passes on that far sideline. Leproux getting a touch, and a pick was called. I think it was on Peltier, Quentin Peltier. And Laila Petitbon there, standing with the disc, unsure if the pass to her was affected. I'm pretty sure that it was a lot later after the pick was called. another swing. Oof, that was very close to the defender there, but Hill with the disc. Swing to Pettibon, another swing. Pettibon gets the disc back. Looking for options and a bladey shot into the end zone. Is that going to hang? Yes, it will hang, but there was a defender who also read this disc pretty well. However, there looks to be a discussion. I think the Manchot receiver there, Manchot's player there, is arguing that she actually had the possession. I unfortunately cannot see very well what is the number to tell you who that is with a potential goal. And as the player is discussing there, because if she argues that she had possession and then it was knocked away and it is accepted, that would be a goal. If it's only a foul, well, we still want to, of course, avoid any contact. And no, judging by the hand signals, thank you for the hand signals, always makes it a lot easier for us. That is a turnover, and that call is retracted. That means that Tartu has possession now, once again, going for a possible break once again, as the previous point was also break for them. So yes, they're finding that breaks and looking at an early lead and they also have a possibility to finish the first half, to win the first half, to be precise. Long shot, ooh, close to the sideline, signaled out by Manchot. Is that gonna be argued? No, not argued. Turnover is called. Very good spirit on both sides by Manchot. That with that possible foul strip earlier, and now with the out of bounds goal for Tartu. Ooh, great grab, but just out of reach for Pettibon, if I'm right. And yes, that unfortunate drop, despite the bid, gives the disc again to Tartu into the end zone. Now for a much easier score, but it looked a little bit uncomfortable, that reception. However, that still is going to be counted as a point and as a score for Nigol there, assisted by Laura Lepik. Tartu is doubling up on Manchot. 4-8 is the score. First half is won by Tartu quite comfortably. They went on a bit of a run of 3 points in the end of that first half. Manchot are finding themselves in a bit of a hole, but let's see if they will be able to dig themselves out of it in the second half. I will be back in a few minutes, seconds, probably. Don't go anywhere and stay here for the second half of this exciting lower bracket semi-final between Manchot and Tartu Turbulence, France against Estonia. Hello and welcome back to the second half of that 5-8 bracket semifinal between Manchot in black and Tartu in white, where Tartu has taken the first half by a bit of a storm, especially in the end of the first half, and managed to find 2 breaks in a row after their own hold and to finish the first half at 4-8. Manchot now have a possibility for a hold. So far they're doing great and moving that disc around there. Lepro there is the disc, finds Prot. They are managing to find the disc all the way to the other sideline and also all the way to the other end zone for that clean, nice and clean hold, something that they really needed, I think, after the way the first half was over. Quentin Peltier to Laila Petitbon for that score. 5-8 at the moment is the score. I'm sure that Manchot will be looking to find a few more breaks. Could be, yeah. We'll see if they will manage to do that. But so far, Tartu have a commanding lead over their opponents. And yes, I've been saying actually that I do see most of these names on Tartu's site are quite familiar to me. However, I think they were a few names that I haven't seen before. And that particular one, yes, number 12, Koit Helger Panskep, has only played for less than 1 year. 17 years of age, but is getting an already some experience at the elite invite level. Very good for him. So maybe a bit of a future of Ultimate, just like Marin Rava as well, only 19 years of age, but already heaps of playing experience. And a couple of championships to herself, while we see that previous pass from Tartu is knocked and dropped to the floor, and oof, 3 players under that hangy disc. It's been knocked away in the end by the defender, so Tartu will get that disc back. Good work by, I think it was Noman or Nison to get that back. Oh, it was Teder. I apologize. To get that possession back. Lintz finds her teammate. Raba also getting a few touches and a long shot. Wouldn't be surprised if Loritz was the one who actually threw that. Jakob Tam is under that disc. Great awareness. He definitely knows how to read these long passes and long shots. Lots of experience for him, very experienced player. Raba finds Pello, who is playing a bit of a 1-2 there with Teder. Sorry, with Loritz. Teder Loritz doing all of the handling duties. And a bit of a pick in the end zone. I think that player, the defender of that player who actually caught it in the end zone, was slightly obstructed. And because of that, we got that disc back. Now Raba with the disc. Gets it to Teder, and the pick. We could hear it very clearly as well. Always good to hear very clear calls. Teder with the disc. Gets it to Tam in the end zone for another score and for another hold. maybe that was a bit of a risky throw, considering that the defender was very close, but I think that was maybe the only option that Tedder has had, as I'm pretty sure that the stall count was mounting and getting pretty high. But that brings us to 5-9. Let's see if Tartu will manage to double up once again on their opposition and get it to 5-10. Hopefully not for the opposition, of course, from Manchots from France. But yeah, Tartu so far are having a pretty commanding lead in this game. Maybe that first 3 losses was a bit of a learning curve for them, very possibly. Getting out back onto the outdoors. I'm sure that they're training outdoors, but tournaments outdoors, slightly different thing from the indoors. As we know, the Baltic nations are playing lots of indoor ultimate. Different. I'm personally not a fan of that, but unfortunately, sometimes during the winter, these are the only options that you have to get some ultimate into your system and stay active. Manchot moving around in the handler space pretty well so far. I think there was a bit of a pick. Maybe there was a bit of a disadvantage on the positioning disadvantage there, which is discussed. And I mean, I can understand that if the pass would stay with the receiver, but the defender would get a little bit closer as well. I would want to see the replay, of course, to see what kind of positioning was there before. But in the end, we are getting a self-check from Nigot. Finds his teammate. Oh, that disc was hanging, but well handled by Petitbon. Back to Nigot. Back to Petitbon. No, she's quite covered. Far sideline, blady throw, and that worked out. Wow. Difficult reception. Well done by the receiver there. Peltier with the score. Assisted by Lebrun from that far sideline. Not an easy reception for sure. Not an easy pass. Yeah, looks to be that the second half is being played with a slightly longer points. I think the longest point so far was the halftime point. 6.5 minutes. Or was it 6 minutes 50, I think. Almost 7 minutes that point was. And the points that are being played in the second half so far are only 5, 4, and now 3 minutes. So let's see if the next point is going to take only 2 minutes. That would be interesting statistics. Of course, in terms of ultimate 5-minute point is actually a long one. The majority of the points are usually scored within a couple of minutes. In terms of the time, we still have approximately 30 minutes to play with, so plenty of time to get to 15 points. Very good movement there to stay alive, and long shot to Tam once again in the end zone. Jakob Tam is making it look almost easy. He's always finding himself in some free space, running towards the disc very often for a score, and this time that point is assisted by Pello, Yannick Pello. I think also one of the more more of a veteran players. Oh yes, 44 years of age, so Grandmasters eligible player. But still great to see him playing outdoors on the elite level. Gives me hope that maybe after 10 years or so I will still be running around and chasing frisbees and chasing plastics. Hello to Tam. Very nice connection for them for a 6-10 score. Manchots are still trailing, but the energy of this match looks to be a little bit lower than in the beginning. I think both of these teams came out to be very hopeful, very active. I'm sure that they will try to pump themselves up. And Petit Ball was that nice wind up and a long shot into the end zone, but that is taken away by Terra in the end zone. Yeah, she is definitely very dangerous defensive player. Very hard to throw anything where she is in the vicinity. She will most likely take that away, but unfortunately the first pass on the counter attack was dropped, and that means that Manchot have another shot at the offense, and they do get it and they do take it. Nice and relatively easy. I think it was just a couple of passes. So Gaetan Caminade to Perrine Lepro for the score. 7-10. We're gonna get, if Tartu is gonna hold, might be an early Slurpee for everyone. Morning Slurpee. Not sure if I like them in the mornings. Maybe I prefer them in the afternoons, especially the hot ones. If you want, of course, you can always check what is the weather in Leuven. The internet does wonders for us. 20 degrees. Oh, this is beautiful weather for sure. Would love to be there, but we also hear and we see in the background the flags fluttering. So there is a bit of a wind, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the game too much. And looking at the rest of the week's weather, it looks like this weekend it was the perfect weather, because next week, starting from Monday, it's gonna be warm, but it's gonna rain, and it's going to rain a lot. So great to find ourselves in these conditions with sunny Belgium, sunny Leuven, watching some elite ultimate from some of the best European athletes in Europe. Terra was the disc, finds Rava. Love that matchup again with the Tam and I think it's Prot. Yes, Tam and Prot. Prot, I'm sure, is a very experienced player. Yes, 11 years of playing, so he is marking Tam very closely. He's not allowing him to have a step. As we all know, Tam is getting quite a lot of touches. And maybe playing a bit of an assassin on him, shutting him down completely and not letting him go deep. But Tam now gets a touch in the handler space, gets it off to Terra. Terra goes back. This goes back once again. Terra and Tam moving the disc around. Loritz now is the disc and a hammer to Tam for a laying out score. Beautiful. Nice. That should pump up the Tartu site. That was a great score. But once again, yes, Tartu and their indoor experience is It's interesting to see that maybe a bit more bladey or hammer upside down over the overhead options. It works for them, definitely. Um, they know how to play with it. But maybe some of the teams could also like take a few lessons from them on how to play with these kind of throws, especially when it's not windy. Of course, we all know that, for example, mooncatchers are using these blades and hammers quite a lot in their game. And mooncatchers also won the... Didn't they win the indoor clubs this year? Pretty sure they did. So probably they also know how to play indoor pretty well. So yes, some of these teams very experienced and well versed in that. Loritz to Tam, as I've mentioned, for that score 7-11. Time for an early Slurpee or a slushy or whatever cold beverage you prefer. I would stick to coffee though, to some warm and nice coffee. Manchot. Oh, great grab. Amazing grab. Great display of athleticism there by Manchot. Difficult reception, but still well handled. Posette now with the disc in the middle of this field, and the long shot is going. Is that going to be handled? Yes, into the end zone, and I think the player who assisted that, Gaetan Kamina, I think she was the one who actually saved that previous disc. So well done by her. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is possible. Nothing's impossible. Very possible that I'm wrong. If it is, please let me know who saved that disc with a great layout grab. Putting her body on the line. I think it was a female matching player. We know, yeah, this game, sorry, the second half so far, no breaks. Every point was a hold. And the score is now 11-8, as you also see on your screens. In the background, in a little tent. It's a really, really nice organization, in my opinion. I mean, it is three divisions, so it is actually 24 teams, but we are only playing on 4 fields. That means that every division is playing at the same time. So it's quite easy to follow the schedule and understand the schedule, having 4 fields for 24 teams and 3 divisions. Yeah, great organization. Love to see that, but it would be of course nicer to have all of the fields being natural grass, because as you see, some of the fields are synthetic and that can burn, that is for sure. But we can't have it everything. Still nice to have that. Oh, bit of a throwaway, and I think a miscommunication between the receivers, because there were multiple receivers for that disc close to it, but nobody went for it and tried to catch it. I think everybody thought that this disc is for someone else. That gives Manchot a golden opportunity for a break, for a first break. They are 3 breaks down, now only 2 breaks down on Tartu, and Tartu probably going to be asking questions like what happened there. Well, not all is lost, of course, for them, but definitely something unpleasant, something that they would want to avoid in the future if they still want to maintain that lead and win this game. 11-9 is the score. Manchot finding their first break in this game, the second half, with approximately 20 minutes to go. Probably a good time to do that, yeah. Marine Benoist. I might be pronouncing that wrong. I do not speak French. To Lisa Lechanouen. Tartu with another crack on that offense. Terra centers to Raba. Raba goes back to Loritz. Loritz, is he going to jack it deep? Yes, he will. Is it going to be jack up time under the disc? Yes, it will be. Is it going to be too long? Maybe just a little bit, unfortunately. Tam there with slightly, if I can say that, uncharacteristic mistake, but that was once again a very difficult reception that was very close to the back of the end zone. That shot was maybe a little bit too deep, and Tam there could not come down with that disc. He did touch it for sure, but maybe the disc was too high for him to actually make a catch. So one shot, another opportunity for a break. Yeah, this is getting very interesting in that second half. If they're gonna get this break, they're gonna bring it back within one. Obviously, they would need another one to bring us back on serve. And even then, the Tartu side will still have an advantage of an offense in the universe point situation. So ideally, Manchot would want 3 breaks to get into the lead. But that could be quite difficult. Of course, considering how well Tartu has been playing this game as well. Not saying that Manchot was playing badly. No, not at all. Absolutely not. They are managing to claw back some of these breaks, and that might be another opportunity for them. Is that going to be? Ooh, yeah, that was defended, definitely, but I did see maybe not, I can't say a lot of contact, but there was a contact there, and looks like Gavier is coming to assist the players. My personal opinion, she was a little bit too far to have a good perspective, but it was an open field, so maybe she actually did have a good perspective. Or maybe she's just there to help with translation, or she might be a spirit captain of the team. So it could be helpful sometime to have another calming voice to assist that particular discussion. All of the EUF games, of course, are played without any observers or advisors. I have my own opinions about that, being a game advisor, but yeah. European Ultimate traditionally is played without any assistance of any advisors or anyone. And that call is resolved very effectively, very quickly, which is, of course, we all love to see. Even advisors, we don't want to get involved if we don't have to be involved. And that disc was awarded as a defense. And that is Jack Deep for Raba, who, oh, I think that disc had so much spin on it, so it just got knocked from the hands of Marin Raba there, very close to the end zone. It was a beautiful shot. It was a laser of a shot for sure, but I think the closing speed of Raba there, helped her to get really close to it, and then unfortunately I think that would be considered as a drop there. And Manchots having another opportunity of a break, but they have to work all the way to the other side of the field, as that disc was sent basically zone to zone, laser shot. Manchot looking for that break so far. Ooh, Terra there is, yeah, almost getting the defense, but I think the key word there is almost. Not getting it completely, so Manchot's moving the disc around so far pretty well, quite calmly. Close now to the end zone, and oh, Marin Raba once again. I think that is another hand block uh, architected by her. Well done. Oof. Yeah, she is. She's very good, obviously, on the in the deep space, but also on the defense. I think yes. I think it's the second hand block in this match for Raba, and oh, Corducy there is very unhappy with herself. She maybe could have faked an additional time, kicking the grass a little bit in the distance. I'm sure, yes, as I've mentioned before, like Manchot did not want to come out of this game with another loss. Betty Bon there comforting her teammate, Corducy. After that play. And Gavillier, who assisted the discussion in the end zone earlier in this point, uh, looked to have also heaps of experience for this Manchot side. Unfortunately, I do not know much about this team. I've seen them, I think the first time I've seen them play was actually in this tournament, as I was watching and I think commentating on one of the games earlier against Lemmings, if I remember correctly. It's been many games and many of them were very exciting. But now, yes, definitely I will learn some of their names, and yeah, interesting to see some of their key players. And Ophélie Cavillet, Poachy D lefty throws, exciting. Looks to be very exciting player. 3 years of playing, defensive handler, and she's an ultra trail runner, but also a beerathon runner. I'd love to know what is beerathon. I hate running, but I do like beer and I do like ultimate. Are these things connected? Hmm, very interesting. And her sporting hero is David Barzazi, oh, who is going to be playing later today, if I remember correctly, for the third place match. As La Fota, I think, did lose their semis or quarters. Back to this game though, finally Tartu Turbulence are finding their feet and punching in their 12th point. Loritz, unsurprisingly, once again throwing an assist to Helen Terra this time after a bit of a timeout. Uh, after a timeout that was called on the field. I stand corrected. BFD Lafota is going to play for the 5th place later today against Wall City, and I'm going to commentate on that actually, if I remember my schedule correctly. I will be, yes. It will be in about 2 hours time. So after the next game, I will be on this field and on this stream for the first 3 games. So at the moment you are watching Manchots against the Turbulence, where Tartu Turbulence are taking once again slightly a bit of a commanding lead, 12-9 over the French side. Next up on this field we are going to have East Block against Jet Set Love. So this will be women's 5th place match. And after that, we're going to have Wall City against BFD La Fota in the open division. Once again, 5th place is going to be negotiated there. And the one after that, and the last slot is going to be covered by Merit Trap from Germany, from Berlin, and it's going to be mixed match for 5th and 6th place, where you will most likely see the winner of this game, which could be very possibly the Estonian side. Baltics maybe not coming out to play that often in these particular tournaments, but always exciting to see the tournament, them in the tournament. Ooh, is that gonna stay in? Is that gonna get in? No, that is taken away by Terra. Close to that end zone. Yeah, that was a bit of a slightly ambitious throw, I think. Maybe that needed a bit more speed on it, and not as much air and hang under it. Tartu bringing the disc in. Tonison there, finds a reset, goes into the middle of the field. Now the disc is moving quickly. Terra onto it pretty well. Sorry, that was Noman. Number 67. Noman goes back and into the end zone. Goes back to Sapelkov. And then into the end zone for Nigol, for Annette Nigol. Good to see that it's not only Jakob Tam scoring all the points, but it takes a rest a little bit from scoring in the points there. But yes, he's definitely the leader of the stats on that Estonian side. He has 2 assists and 5 goals. Christian Loritz has 6 assists. Somebody likes to throw deep. Nigol now has 3 points. All 3 are to her name. We have approximately 8 minutes of time left of regulation, let's say, and that break is bringing us ever closer, of course, to the 15-point mark. Score is now 9-13. Sorry, 13-9, if you prefer that, in favor of Tartu. It is very likely to be a game to 15, regardless of time. Prot with the disc for Manchots to Lebrun. Now to that far sideline, back to Lebrun, back to Prot. And now disc is in the middle once again. And a nice expansing shot. Ooh, double coverage over there, but really well handled by was 46, and I do not have his name on my roster, fortunately, but well held under lots of pressure. I think it was Quentin Peltier who also assisted that score to Emmanuel Pozet. And they are getting their hold in. And we're getting ever closer, of course, to the business end of this game. Approximately 5 minutes left on the clock. Quentin Peltier, 20 years of age, assisting that particular point. And I think Tartu's side is discussing, should this disc be bricked? Good question. I think it did go out quite early, but I think in the end it was bricked. Yep, we see Loritz, Christian Loritz, there bringing the disc in. Finds Terra. She finds Tam. Uh, good reception under pressure, under a bidding defender there. I think Peltier is back to play another point, and this time Raba is holding on to that disc on the far sideline, but a travel has been called on a throw, so the disc will go back to Bello. It's going to be checked in. Looks like Tartu is bringing some of their veteran players for this particular point to maybe score it nice and calm and collect in a nice and calm and collected way. Fashion. Loritz now is the disc, finds his favorite receiver, Tam. Tam goes to Raba. Raba, is it going to be a hammer? No. An upline. Back to Loritz, sorry, and then Loritz is punching it into the end zone for another score for, surprise, surprise, Marin Rava, who has actually scored a couple of points earlier and is a little bit doing more of handling duties in this particular game. Maybe she's generally a handler in the outdoor season, but normally I see her in the end zone, of course, playing indoor. Oh, still exciting. And was that a timeout? No, it was not a timeout. Looks like it is 14-10. Tartu, as close as they can be to winning this game, so it will be a game to 15. Tartu needs just one more point to finish this game up and to get a first win on the board for themselves. Nice pull, just into the end zone, and Manchots are starting their offensive possession, and oh, that disc was hanging pretty high, and yeah, it was a bit dangerous for sure. The defender was right there, but she couldn't get enough of a touch on it. And the disc is finally was brought down by the offensive player. Now it's really moving very quickly. Petitbon with the disc. Can't really find any option, and I think that stall count was just too high. And yes, in the end, I think she just needed to get anything out. And she is claiming a foul. Very interesting. I think from the first look, from the camera angle that we have, I did not see much of a contact, but once again, I don't have the best perspective, of course, and sadly we do not have a luxury of a replay on these fields like you may have on some other fields. Still, you can always click on the button towards the left and have a look at the replay once again if you're curious to see that. and to decide for yourself if it was a foul or not. And it is a foul contest, so the disc should go back at maximum 6, despite being very close to a turnover. But finally, Petitbon found Prot, and the disc is moving once again. Oh, difficult reception there for for Gavillier. Gavillier and Petitbon now playing a bit of oh, sorry, that was Hill. And that disc was thrown to a defender. If Noman would play for the defense, that would be a perfect, sorry, for her own team, that would be a perfect throw for a score, but unfortunately Noman and it was Petitbon are playing on two different teams, so that is now defended, and oh, that was close between Lepik and Petitbon. Maybe a bit too much context, and this one is taken away by number 15, Lebrun. And I think a foul is claimed once again on that play. Foul, uncontested. A bit of a collision on the field. Petitbon will stay with the disc. Should go. Stall count should go to 1. And some positional advantage will be rectified. Coming out with the disc into the end zone for another score for, I think it was Corducy. Oh no, apologies, that was Lepo in the end zone for that 11-14 score. We are getting once again close to the end of the first game of the day. Ooh, I can also update you on the rest of the games as we are in the semi-final stage, of course. Always interesting to see how the other games are doing. In this bracket, we have Lemmings and Deep Space. That is exciting. Lemmings winning 15-14. Wow. So it is a game to 15 for sure. And Lemmings are looking to win the champions from last year, mixed champions from last year, Deep Space. Whew. Sure, that's an exciting match. Seski Distus, Nulacht Ultimate, is over with a score of 15-5. Manchots, Tartu Turbulance is what you're watching right now, where there was, I think, a bit of a pick. And there is a bit of a stoppage there. And as I've mentioned, yes, Manchot and Tartu is what you're watching now. The score at the moment is 14-11, and Tartu has an opportunity to finish this game. Dara there with a great reception, and elects to go backwards a little bit, and a pick is called. And the last game of this 1-8 is Reading against Disconnection. Reading won. So the winner of this game that you're watching right now is going to play against Reading for the 5th place later today. Linz finding Terra. Once again on the doorstep of that end zone, but she does not have any options. She elects to go back to, I think it is Tether. Yes, and Tether to Terra once again for a score. Sorry, my apologies, it's Loritz. Of course, the assists distributor uh, of this, of Tartu Turbulence side. And very unfortunately for Manchots, they are so far winless in this tournament, and it might be quite difficult for them in the last game. We will see, of course. They might prove me wrong, but that means that Disconnection and Manchots will be playing for the 7th place. I think Disconnection had some interesting games in the pool play. Tartu will be playing Reading. They have not met yet, and Disconnection and Manchots also have not met yet, so this is going to be exciting, some interesting new matchups. And in the top of the bracket, undecided yet. Yeah, it's still 14-11 on the live scoring there. But it looks like it's going to be Distus against Lemmings, considering that Lemmings are winning right now, playing for the first place for this for the Elite and White wildcard and the possibility to secure yourself a place uh, in the finals. As you can see on your screens, the women's 5th place is getting warmed up. I'm going to get a quick break. Next up on this field, also with me, we're gonna have East Block against Jet Set. I'm gonna get a quick break, of course. Don't go anywhere while we will also start the next particular stream. Thanks for listening. It's been an exciting game, an exciting semi-final, but we are gonna continue with our day. Don't go anywhere.